Welcome. These will be my thoughts on Hitmonkey Season 1, Episode 9, The End, Part 1. The episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be? There will be spoilers for these first 9 episodes, and another episode that I absolutely love. Now that I finally rediscovered my goddamn razor, let's dive right in. So, I really wanted to make sure to start by noting, I don't know how the fuck I missed it all this time, but the female cop, the rookie cop, is played. I'm gonna try to pronounce it. I hope I get it right, by Ali Maki, who I adore as Mina Hess, possibly my favorite character on Cloak and Dagger. I have no idea how I missed it all this time, but yeah, absolutely wonderful to experience more of her work. And I can kind of see, like, both, there's some idealism to both characters. Anyway, I think that pretty much that's the only sort of, yeah, so yeah, very cool to make the last 2 episodes an actual 2-parter, and extremely excited to see how it all ends. Shouldn't be very many days before I do the actual finale. Now, I think this... I do also want to say they're still doing a really great job on... So I want to say her name is Lady Bullseye. You know, she... just yeah, like, it was a really strong introduction first, and then we got the incredible fight where it was really like, okay, this is like someone who could really stop Monkey. And then in this one, you know, she found out about Bryce, about there being a ghost, and you know, she tried to get some information out of the suit maker, and now is, you know, gonna attack Akiko. So that's yeah, really looking forward to seeing more of yeah. So I think that pretty much, yeah, and I also really appreciate how the episode just hits the ground running. It kind of literally, or hits the street running, I suppose. And yeah, the bit with, you know, so they're running away from the cops, and then to hide, he stands by the, you know, he pretends his face is the monkey mask. That's genuinely funny. That I think this is my favorite use of that kind of gag. And yeah, there's like there's this person standing right in front who's like completely oblivious, just like taking selfies. Like, did you not realize that like cops just ran past, and like, I don't know, seems like you gotta be pretty jaded to just ignore that entirely. And I love that Bryce acknowledges, you know what? Old Bryce would be super jealous of you right now. But I'm actually, you know, he's like impressed. He's talking him up the entire, you know, later on he's like, you know how they have like the first dog? You're gonna be the first monkey. Like, genuinely, he's so stoked. Like, love it. It's this kind of, you know, because like that's one of the things when, you know, we on the far left talk about, like, you don't have to, as a guy, engage in toxic masculinity. You can embrace positive masculinity. That's one of the things we're talking about. You know, toxic masculinity says, oh, this guy is supposed to be better than me. Fuck him. I'm going to tear him down. I'm going to destroy him so I can feel better about myself. Positive masculinity says, oh, this guy's doing really well. Awesome. I'm going to lift him up. Like, obviously, unless he's like being harmful, which from Bryce's certain point of view, obviously Monkey isn't. And I think that brings us to, yeah, so they find, you know, that was also very cool. I was genuinely concerned that the rookie was still against Monkey, but thankfully Akiko talked, and that's also very cool because like, yeah, there was a connection, but it wasn't necessarily super positive before, and some time has passed. Yeah, they've had some conversations and they realize they are on the same side, which like it's understandable that they do. We saw the interactions they had, and I think, which is also, yeah, just love this idea of, yeah, appearances can be deceiving. Both of them, once they realize, oh, this person's actually 100%, looking to do the right thing, because like understandably the rookie cop was like, she's hiding something, why would she be hiding something from us, the cops, the paragons of virtue? And, meanwhile, Akiko is like, you're probably on Ozu's payroll. Isn't every cop in Tokyo? So it is, yeah. And also just goes to show, hey, if you openly communicate with someone who, you deem to be trustworthy, you can solve a lot of problems. And yeah, the entire conversation. And I love the bit where Bryce is like, there's a bunch of, oh, sweetheart. Okay, let me just ghost explain this to you. There's like so much evidence right over there, so I don't know why you're obsessing over the pet. Oh, it's a recording device. Okay. And that is genuinely very clever because, like, yeah, they that is one great way to try to keep, like, there. It's there are a number of people within these kind of, if you're engaging in crime, you may want to have dirt on some of the others in order to do so. And yeah, you're clicking a pen. That's not suspicious, and yeah, I think that brings it. Yeah, and the part with okay, so Monkey, do you agree to this? And Monkey communicates through in the same way as usual. And Rookie is like, okay, Akiko, do we agree that was a I agree, I'm in grunt, not a you should knock down the person who's trying to build trust with us grunt, right? And I think that brings us to, yeah, and very close, yeah, all the guns are gone, so it enters with just the katana. So fucking cool. Like this, it would not have been the same if Monkey did not go up against all these, yeah, the other sword fighters. That yeah, that was fucking incredible. And I think that is when we see Lady Bullseye at the, well, I've been calling him suit maker, I guess dressmaker in this case. Taylor, I think. Isn't that his last name? No, probably not. But I think is his title. And yeah, the thing about, so this guy next to the monkey, he's, and also a literal monkey suit. And the thing with, the guy next to, didn't he, didn't something happen to him? And the tailor's like, I don't know anything about that. Because he thinks that's going to save him. He has no idea. And yeah, she's like, well, no, we're done here, because if he's not going to tell anything, then yeah, this is how she operates, She genuinely will kill you as soon as fucking look at you. And, oh, did you just poke me? No, I didn't poke you. And then she goes over this elaborate, like, god damn, I love how many characters this show has that have been killing for so long that at this point they're like, listen, I'm sorry, but doing it regularly is just kind of boring, How am I gonna remember it if I'm just doing it the most straightforward way, and she knows to the second how long it takes and the whole thing and the way, he gets like increasingly pale and collapses. Jesus Christ. And let's see. I think that is also the hmm. I think that's when Monkey gets to the bridge. And yeah, very clever, climbing under the bridge. And that's also when we see the yeah. Earlier we saw it briefly, but Bryce was not willing to admit to Monkey yet, but now, Monkey sees it, and Bryce has to acknowledge, yeah, there's something happening, And then he says, let's just ignore it, like I do to all my problems. I finished that sentence before he did. I was, yeah. And, let's see, I feel like that. Yeah, also very clever, obviously when Bryce just disappears, it's like, well, what happened? So Monkey, like, I forget what it's called, but, makes some noise. And, it seems like one of the guards is a little too close by, and thankfully it gets, to climbing first. And then the thing with, like, this isn't very realistic. It seems to, like, they're going for a really old-timey theme, but some of these details are off. Ding. But then he's like, oh, this is where the budget went. And yeah, love this thing of, we see just, like, one of them pop up behind, and then Monkey turns around and there's like half a dozen or something. Yeah, that's really cool because they knew, this is gonna draw in Monkey, and yeah, so fucking cool. Love the way the fight is done with like silhouettes getting cut in half, and the thing with like, okay, 3 o'clock. No, I'm sorry, you're 3 o'clock, not mine. I won't do that again. And then he's like, having a partner is so cool. I thought they were just there for you to blame stuff on. And that's also when we get what's the other thing? There was one more thing right around here with the, yeah, one of the mercs does make it back up to, and is like, Monkey's here. If I had a penny for every time I heard a merc bleeding with a sword say that, I would have 0 pennies. And yeah, Ozu, it is really great misdirect, because genuinely, yeah, I mean, thinking back to those lines, it sounds like he's talking about like he was the one who had Ken killed, but not, he's not saying something that can only be interpreted that way. Like he said, you said it wouldn't go like this or something like that. Yeah, because yeah, I mean, I guess in retrospect, he's saying, why did you kill Ken? That fucked up my chances. I think that's, yeah, because the other guy was betraying him so that the Takei character could win. And yeah, the bit with like, don't you need help? I can take care of myself. Badass. And yeah, we find out, bonsai shoes. I'm sorry, bonsai master. Same thing. And the I feel like, I think this is when we see the big the outside of the party, and we have the bit with the cops talking about, like, this crowd, and then the thing about, Lady Bullseye hasn't even showed up. What are we gonna do? And then, Silver Samurai. I mean, it would feel off if he didn't make at least one appearance. Yeah, so cool to see him. And again, it's one of those things like the Kingpin reference earlier. Like, you don't need to read the comics. It just means something else if you are familiar with. But yeah. And there's yeah, we get, because they say it, oh yeah, he's like a mutant. He protects, Tokyo. I think everything they say and show in this episode of, it's been like 20 years since I read a comic featuring Silver Samurai, but that is how I remember it, including he's a giant asshole. And yeah, the thing with, I think her name is Yuki, the spirit flies in, and clearly these two have history. So that's also gonna come up in part 2 of the end, I'm sure. And let's see, I think that yeah. So Monkey reaches the part with the bonsai master, and he's like fully armored up, and love that it plays. You've got this like hide and seek thing going on. Like, god damn, where's Bruce Lee when you need him? And the way that in these quick cuts he manages to literally quickly cut, but it's also the way it's edited. And yeah, I was genuinely not sure how Monkey was gonna be able to do it, but turns out the bonsai tree is the source of his power, and somehow Bryce managed to fuck with it, but only a little bit. Is that the root of evil, maybe? Or related to it, at least. Anyway, and yeah, incredible fight through and through, and yeah, he ends with the I'm thinking it's a seppuku, and then you have the thing like, ugh, someone had a big lunch. That's such a fucked up joke, goddamn. I too, like Bryce, really liked the joke about, he's not gonna have a chance to read his concession speech. And the bit with like, just nod, your smile is horrifying. And I understand if some people looked at the monkey struggling with the seatbelt joke and thought it went on for too long. I would have to disagree. I thought it was incredibly funny. Just, I was laughing my ass off. But like, okay, monkey, you are touching the button right now. Okay, so just press down and release. Press down. Just, and it's like trying to teach a child how to do this on their own or something. Just does not register. And all three of them are trying to give advice there, which is one of those things of like, at some point that actually starts to like, they start to cannibalize each other because you can't focus on everyone, just yeah. And at the same time, like, no one wants to sit there and feel like an asshole not trying to help this situation, just yeah. And right, so we also have Lady Bullseye go to, and I love that the guy's like, took you long enough. And, she's like, well, I had to find the church that was frequented by a suit-wearing monkey. And it is true, like, some people have seen Monkey there, so it wouldn't be kept, and I'm to be completely honest, I didn't even think of that when there was, I didn't think of the fact that, of course, eventually someone might be attacked, or someone might attack the holy man on account of that. But yeah, and I love the turn of this fight, because at first, like, she walks in, she's this complete badass, and we already know, he's not like helpless, but we didn't know the extent of how awesome he was. And yeah, at first, like, she is doing that thing of like, talking a lot to mask and security, and he calls it out. He's like, if you stop talking so much during fights, you can control your breath. And he's just like, at first she throws one of these little blades. He just ducks slightly to the side, looking like fucking Han Solo or something. I think we agree, the worst version of that movie. George, please stop adding shit. And one of them he fucking catches in the midair, like, god damn. He does not start to like turn it back in the other direction because he does not need to travel in time to talk to his father. And the let's see, what's the other thing? Yeah, and unfortunately she does realize his weakness. I guess he's taking a page out of the Daredevil comic book because his weakness is loud noises. And yeah, she uses that very effectively and just does like not quite death by 1,000 cuts, more like, I don't know, 7 maybe, but yeah. And yeah, the thing with, like, you know, the monkey and the ghost? No, the goat. And the yeah, they're near the end, you know. It's understandable that Akiko is very emotional, nothing wrong with that, and, you know, she goes to fix her makeup, and then, you know, Lady Bullseye comes in and, you know, applies the makeup. And I love the bit with like, no, I can do it. Okay, you're just gonna do it no matter what I fucking say. Okay then. And, you know, she's about to like fucking stab her in the eye with the, god damn it, that's fucked up. And, you know, we know she has a thing about eyeballs because she picked the ones out of the Holy Man too and put them in the donation plate maybe, or whatever that, I don't know enough about their culture, I'm sorry, not mean to be disrespectful. And I feel like that, yeah, but say yeah, Monkey comes upon Ozu, and yeah, we have the thing of like, you know, he points out, why would I have Ken killed? Now I had to run against a martyr. No. It's the Takei character who stood to, you know, gain from this. And, you know, we have the thing of like, I wrote you a speech. I wrote my own. Am I being fired again? Uncle, we have to stop meeting like this. And, you know, because it's his own, he quotes the bonsai master, his friend. So, yeah, wonderfully done. Oh my god, I can hardly wait. So if I'm just very briefly gonna guess for the actual last episode of the season, Silver Samurai has pledged to keep the peace of all of Tokyo and defend the Prime Minister, whoever he is. And right now, that's the Takei character. Monkey is going to want to kill the Takei character. I'm not confident exactly where. I mean, I wouldn't rule out. But yeah, I'm not confident exactly what what Yuki, I think her name was, the ghost, the spirit, the evil spirit. Yeah, the spirit. What her allegiance is. I feel like it might be Monkey. I know she said, you know, she would work with Monkey and his sidekick. But I'm not 100% certain because, like, this is against the Prime Minister. Like, the last time, at least, you know, yeah, I don't know. And I think it's going to be a really epic fight, certainly. And if I had to guess, I think by the end, I don't know if Bryce is still going to be around. Certainly season 2 is going to be very different if he's not. If I had, I think he will make it into season 2, and there's going to be some kind of thing of, you know, in order to move on, he would have to reconnect with his family. And that'll be some time in season 2, maybe the end of season 2. And until then, they're gonna just be more or less regular vigilantes, maybe on as they travel to back to his family or something, some kind of A-team style thing, you know, going to different places, helping people out. If no one else can help, and if you can find them, and well, Monkey specifically probably can't find Bryce. And I would be surprised if Monkey doesn't survive the finale. That would make a very different season 2. I think by the end, Lady Bullseye is going to be dead, defeated in combat. I don't know if it's going to be, you know, I don't know about Yuki and Silver Samurai. Now, other than that, I feel like there was at least one more thing I really wanted to make sure. I fucking love the shot where we see Monkey reflected like mirror surface in the sword, and also the thing about like, oh, you know, the last samurai of the, you know, And yeah, and the thing about like, how is he intending to kill us? Bore us to death? And yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. I did want to briefly note, somewhat recently, FD Signifier put out part 2 of Goon World on Nebula. It is exclusively on there, which you'll understand if, hopefully when, you watch it. And yeah, I feel like that pretty much covers... And this is also a good time, too, if you didn't watch part 1 of his series on Goon World, you know, catch up on that one. Yeah, I believe that covers everything. I'm really loving new and improved Bryce, much more, you know, community focused, more, you know, realizing how great it is to, you know, have friends and actually, you know, and yeah, like genuinely, you know, it is this thing of, you know, Monkey is one of the only people who have ever been able to stand, or yeah, characters who have been able to stand Bryce, you know, and now we see that yeah, Bryce is being much nicer to Monkey also. Yeah. Right. So when they found the place demolished and didn't find any guns and such, Bryce said not to brag, and I agree. I don't think this is anything to brag about. But he says, this isn't the first time that a woman has burned my home down. Weird flex, but okay.